This time on Furious Driving, I'll be finding out exactly how bad the old fuel lines were, pretty bad, putting in some new bits of rubber, and getting some random weird stuff in the post. A problem I have finding parts for this car is the things that were vandalised and stolen from it are really quite unusual. So this particular piece of pipe runs from the back of the gearbox, I think, to the oil pressure gauge. So I've had to find people who are breaking cars and then describe in detail exactly the part I want, because I've no idea what you call it. This is a vacuum line. This is a vacuum line which runs alongside that. That's also had a bit chucked out of it. And this, or these I should say, are the headlamp connectors that go on the back of the headlights, which someone cut off. Why would you do that unless you really hated someone? It's easy to buy a new set of headlights of one of these. You can buy them on eBay or anywhere really. But buying just the plugs on the back of it, which I need, is impossible. No one sells the bulb connector. I need to find someone whose car has had a front end impact, and so the glass is broken, but the bulb holder on the back of the headlights is still in one piece. So yeah, that's my next challenge. If anyone has one of those or has a car that's damaged its headlights, please can I have them. So I'm really hoping this is the right part, because without any reference other than the colour of the wires, I'm going to be soldering blind what's in there. One problem with this car is that everything on it is expensive. Mercedes prices are high. So before I go and buy a new one of these link pipes, I'm going to change the washer just in case that one's knackered. Let's try it with a fresh crush washer and just see if maybe that will then give us some... Oh, hang on. There's not one on the other side, it's only got one washer in there. Oh, no wonder the blooming thing was leaking. There's a bit of a eureka moment for you. I wonder if that fell out when I was putting it in. Now, what are the chances that will stop leaking back here now? I'm going to hook up the battery and just pressurise the system just to see if I can remember where the bonnet pull is on this thing. I haven't been inside this car for a couple of weeks. Oh, I can't reach it, it's too far away. This car's too big. Ugh. Let's go see what's on the floor behind the car. Oh look, it's soaking wet, absolutely soaking. You see that on the floor just there? Oh my word. It is a petrol fest. Everything is soaked, exhaust. Okay, so it wasn't that tiny thing I've just changed, which is bone dry now. So that was just that lack of washer, so that side is now fixed, which means the leak is coming from up here somewhere. Ironically, it's the rubber pipes that actually look okay. Although we'll change them though. Oh, I can't figure out where the hell this is leaking from. Now, I don't know what, if anything, you can see of this, because lots more shadows than there are images, but those rubber pipes look like the ends have corroded badly, and I'm trying to figure out how to get that end off. Every time I move I get a face full of stuff. Okay, well that was the bracket holding it on. But a brief pit stop for a couple of quick changes. First of all, I changed the microphone over to an off camera, which you probably can't hear a thing over the wind noise now because I was wearing a lapel mic and I kept twisting the cable. Secondly, I had to go and buy some nitrile gloves at last, so the gloves don't keep dissolving. And thirdly, I had to get some goggles because I've got 5 pairs and I couldn't find any, and every time I touched anything up there it was falling in my face, and I use my eyes quite a lot, so I thought I would save them. And anyway, as far as I got was I disconnected that one rubber pipe, so the metal pipe looks alright underneath there. It's just the bit that's been exposed to the world that looks awful. So I'll keep attacking those bits of pipe, try and get them off the bottom of the tank. And I apologise if that's strobing, because this LED work light does seem to have got a bit of a pulse to it for some reason. Mind you, it was only 15 quid from Machine Mart. And Machine Mart, And Halfords don't sponsor these videos, but they really ought to. I seem to send a lot of money down there. Okay, one less bit of pipe. Okay, so that must be the return line, because it's bone dry. And this one is quite wet, so I guess that's fuel on the way out. I'll give that a wrench. Yeah, that's quite rust. That's a very rusted pipe. That wasn't a completely perfect fix. It's left quite a chunk of rubber hanging on there, along with its rusted up bit of stuff. And that's got a screw fitting on it, a bit like a Jubilee clip, but there's nothing left of the screw thread on there. Oh, face full of petrol, yuck! That's disgusting. I'm glad I have my gloves on, my glasses on. Right, new tool time. I thought I got some smudge of dirt on my glasses. It's not. It's the label I forgot to take off. What an idiot. Going to commit some horrible tool abuse and use some metal snippers and see if I can cut through that metal band. Screwdriver. Okay. Just trying to work out what size of fuel line I need to get. And there's actually two sizes here. That looks like about 5 or 6 millimeters. And the return one is like 9mm. The little one, I didn't realise there were two sizes at first. I'll show you this quickly. There are in fact smaller. Well, it's an hour later. I just drove down to Euro Car Parks because it's the only place that's open on a Saturday afternoon, and discovered they've moved from the place at the back of a really busy industrial park. So I had to drive the wrong direction for another half an hour, and finally got there, and all they had in stock was a metre of 6mm and a metre of whatever size this is, which is slightly larger. I'm hoping they're close enough to this stuff and this stuff that it's going to work. But while I was gone, I missed a delivery, which I'm hoping is going to be more stuff for this car. Live unboxing. Yes, it is. Hooray! Someone on eBay has sent me their wire cutters by mistake. I better let him know. This and this are headlamp plugs. That is another plug for the front of the car apparently. He said there were two. I wasn't aware of that. These are the two bits of pipe that were cut under the bonnet, which is that leaking oil line, which I think is to the pressure gauge. But hopefully, yes. This is kind of loose a minute ago. See where? Hang on. I think I might have found my leak. It doesn't get much more leaky than that, does it? Oh well. I guess I know where the I think I know where the petrol is pouring out from now. Right. Let's follow that one back and cut that off about there in that case then. Guess what? This one is a bit wonky as well. Oh man alive. Well, that's going to be either a 10 or an 11. Right, let's get that unbolted, and maybe I can cut one of those cables lines in. That's not a 10. It's an 11. Now I'm pretty OCD with my tools, and I like to try and keep everything in a place where I can remember it was last time I used it. I cannot find either a hacksaw or a tank cutter. All I can find is an angle grinder, and I think that's probably not the best thing to go and stick under there. Angle grinder and petrol, not a great move. I can't find any cutting devices at all in this garage, with my other glasses I guess. Well, I've definitely found where the fuel leak was coming from, because that is absolutely soaking with petrol, and there's just back pressure from it running from the length of the pipe down to there, making it leak. So that is definitely going to cut off ahead of where that clamp was, because that must have been what was doing it. Now, because I couldn't find anything sensible, I'm going to do something dumb. The only thing I could find with any means of cutting was an air saw. Okay, one down. There we go. One to go. Just going to reiterate, this is an air source, so there are no sparks, any source of heat is the blade itself. So that's rotted off under there as well. Let's see if I can get some rubber hoses through or not. Well, this is why the petrol was leaking absolutely everywhere. This fuel line was just as rotten as a pear, as they say. Now looking at these offcuts of pipe, got two sizes, the small size and the larger size. Now the larger size might, with a bit of forcing, just about go in, so that might be usable. But the smaller one, there is just absolutely no way it's going to force its way in without knackering, destroying that really. So until Car Builder Solutions is open on Monday, that's not going to go back on again. However, I do need to quickly deburr the end of those pipes. Now why won't this go through? I've managed to save myself quite a long drive and mess around in the car today, because yesterday I went to the mini show at Brooklands and I found this, which I believe is the right size 7mm hose for the smaller of the two pipes under this car. So I'm going to quickly put this on and fingers crossed I'll be able to drive this car. Well, drive it, it's hopeless. I better start this car for the first time in nearly a year. Wish me luck. I was wondering where this had gone to. It's actually in the end still. On you, son, slow, get under there. I'm eating far more rust than I'd like to be right now. What's it hitting? Why is it only a route through? There we go, got space. When I take this car for an MOT, I'm going to get the garage to actually make up some proper hard lines for this. I think that would probably be safe for the long run. Oh, I've lost the screwdriver. Yuck. Black thumb, excellent. Perfect. These gloves are awesome. Oh, it says armoured pipe, but that's why I can't get a knife through it. Okay, let's go and get the snippers. There we have it. Rubber hose connected on the wide one and the thick one, which I guess is outlet and return, going over the top of the axle and up to a solid section of those metal pipes. So hopefully it's now all fuel tight and not going to blow petrol across the floor anymore. Fingers crossed, eh? Right, I'm not going to start it. I'm going to go and fire the key up to the second stage to get the pump running to see if that chucks petrol all across the floor now. I think it's got a flat battery. That's annoying. I thought I had this sussed, but I still have a problem with one random bit of pipe which doesn't go anywhere. I've been trying to figure out where it is, but I think I've just found it here now. Hang on. Oh, have I done this wrong? Well, as this is a vaguely complicated, definitely a two marmalade sandwich problem, I've got a bit of a quandary. I'm confused myself. Here's the diagram, which I hope makes things very, very clear indeed. Looking at the back of the car, I found the fuel tank quite easily. I found the fuel pump and filter quite easily. These two lines here were rubber hoses about that long, which were rotten, which went to two metal pipes, also quite rotten, which I broke off and replaced those two sections of pipe with rubber hose. So I think I have replaced, well, I thought I'd replaced the return lines with rubber hose. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Alongside the return lines, there is also a random bit of fuel line which just stops. It just hangs there below the car. I've no idea why. And off the side of the fuel filter and pump, there is the fuel feed line, which goes behind here, under the cross member, where it's a mystery. I can't get my fingers in, I can't get a camera in, I can't see in there. Here be dragons. I've no idea what's going on there. It's still leaking fuel. I'm guessing it must be from this line, but I can't work out where it goes. Unless one of these return lines becomes the feed line behind the cross member. But where does this one go to? Does one of these two become that one? But which one? I don't know. If anyone has taken one of these apart and can give me any sensible advice, I'll be very grateful indeed. These are a different diameter. One is about 7mm, one is about 10mm. That is my only clue, but that's also the larger diameter 10mm. So I could wind up making a loop where I'm pumping petrol straight from the pump back to the return line, or I could be going from there down to this exit pipe of some kind. Who knows? It's all good fun, isn't it? I'm not going to do any more on the car this week, otherwise this video is going to be about an hour long and still have no conclusion. So I'm going to stop it here. The next time I'm going to get back under this and try and work out what goes where. Then I'll also attach those wires and other gubbins which arrived, but I never got as far as putting them on the car, but at least I have them. So come back next time, please, and we'll see where we get to.